Welcome to the Property Unleashed podcast, a show about property, entrepreneurship, and personal development. This show is designed to give you the foundations and building blocks to move forward on your journey and live a more inspired life. Hello and welcome to the Property Unleashed podcast with me, Mark Fitzgerald. And once again, I am truly delighted to be joined by not just one special guest, but two special guests today. Both of these people I've known now for a while, and they are inspiring. They are an inspiring couple who have got started in property and are really pushing themselves forward. They really have worked hard at it, and it's a pleasure to be able to invite them to come on this show. This is really why I started the podcast. This is what it's all about. It's about inspiring others to take action. And if you've got a dream or a vision that you want to do, then it's about getting out there. So Remi and Alex, who are on the show here, have both been a university up until the end of last year, where they finished, and they studied in Liverpool. They are now back in Birmingham, living in the family home, and both work. So Alex is in insurance, and Remi works for the Birmingham Council, although she is changing jobs very, very soon. But they have a property business called ARJ Property Hub, and they now have their first rent-to-rent deal. Well, they got it over the last few months. They've been training in rent-to-rent since November, and as I say, they are an inspirational couple who I'm sure we're going to enjoy their story. So welcome to the show, both of you.
Thanks, Mark.
Hi, thanks for that lovely introduction.
Yeah, perfect.
It's a good one. Good one. So it's really just telling us about your stories, really, because you've come out of university quite quickly last year. You've decided and had a vision that you wanted to get involved in property, and you wanted to maybe start a rent-to-rent business, which is what you've done. It's just really the nuts and bolts of that.
Yeah, so I think we were met at uni, and I think I did a placement year, and we kind of agreed at the end of uni that we wanted to try and obviously work for a few years, but ultimately at the end, like 5 to 10 years, invest in our own business. And my mum's always been into property. She does HMOs and things like that. So we always wanted to know, we wanted to buy properties, but we wanted a strategy that could enhance, do that quicker for us so we could start buying sooner. And then we came across rent-to-rent, didn't we? And thought, let's just go for it and use that as a way to try and push ourselves and get money quicker.
Yeah, get our first feet into the door of the property market and start something new straight out of uni. We thought, whilst we have limited responsibilities, basically, because we're still living at home, so our rent isn't that much. We can still invest a lot of our money and time into property before we move out, start renting, have children, all that sort of stuff. So we want to start it now as soon as possible.
But why not do it straight away? Throw ourselves in the deep end,
Why not? Did you find, just going back obviously to university, which was last year, you were probably, obviously looking at stuff to see what you wanted to do in the future. As you say, your mother's already involved in property, so that gives you a good sort of platform and a base to know that property is a good investment. As UK, as we all know, everybody wants to get involved in property in some way, shape, or most people do, particularly with the way crypto and everything's going at the moment. That's for sure. Property always looks good when stuff like that happens. Yeah. But did you find a lot of your friends at university had the same sort of mindset or same sort of thinkings as you, or were they looking at different avenues?
I think we're probably like the only ones really. Yeah. I think everyone wants to obviously buy houses, but I think we want to do it as a career going forward. I think there's a lot of pressure on when you finish uni to get graduate jobs and everything. I'm starting a graduate job in September, but we've always said we don't want to be in the rat race and work 50, 60 hours a day for someone else. We'll do it for ourselves, but not for someone else.
A few of my mates, actually, they have tried to start their own businesses, but they've done more drop shipping. I'm not sure if you've heard about that, but it's a similar thing to rent-to-rent, actually, more so that you get someone else that creates items, and then you create a website that would distribute those items, but then you would rebrand them as your own. So it's sort of similar, but besides that, a lot of my friends just went straight into getting jobs, straight into working. No one really thought, I want to own my own business, apart from a few. But that's it, A lot of them just go straight into working.
Okay, cool. So, I mean, you're both working at the moment, and obviously you've built your rent-to-rent business, or you're currently building your rent-to-rent business as well, alongside that. And how are you finding that?
I think at the moment it's quite manageable because I'm always working from home. You're in the office 2 days, so at the moment it's okay because my job's not too not too demanding at the moment. But I'm starting my job in September, which will be more demanding. So I think it might change in like a few months, but I think it's worked out well, like good time wise. So we've got our first deal while we're not so busy.
Yeah.
So we know what to expect going forward. But I think it'll be a challenge, but we just need to like prioritise, I suppose. But
now we're more experienced knowing that where things would go wrong, what to do in certain circumstances. We've got that a little bit more experience, so we can sort it out if it does get a bit hectic. Once you start your new job, and the workload gets a bit heavier. But now that we've got our first rent to rent, the money from that we'll just invest straight back into the next one and the next one, so that will help a lot.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
No, that's great. That's great. You left university and everything. You got your jobs. Were they placement jobs, or did you just go out there and find them?
Yeah. So my job I just found in insurance. Just had the interview and got it straight away. So I've been there since October last year. Yeah. So I've just been doing that. But it's not really a graduate scheme or anything like that. It's just a straight up 9-to-5 job. Yeah.
Yeah. And I did a placement year in my degree, so I did that like 2 years ago. I did that in like supply chain and logistics, and then I started a supply chain job when I came out of uni. But I didn't want to do that, so I got a job working the council, which is like an administrative job. And I did that just so I'd have more time to do the rent to rent, working from home, and it's not so demanding. So that's why I got that job, because I knew we'd need more time to look for deals, which I have done. So yeah.
And how do you find it? Obviously, having the jobs and then going out there looking for the deals and getting yourselves educated and really having to fit it all in around, what can be a busy time.
Yeah. It's just a lot of commitment, really. You've just got to sit down and work out a schedule that works for both of us in terms of calling the letting agents or landlords, sorting out all the information that we need to actually get our services out there as well. Yeah. Just finding that balance between working, then coming home and spending 2-3 hours working on our property business, then finding time also to go to the gym and spend time together and all that sort of stuff.
I think it's a lot about being like planning ahead, and like planning like your weeks and months ahead. Like if we have like a weekend free, we'll be like, we'll try and book viewings in for that weekend, or we'll go on our lunch breaks. But I think the main thing is being like planning and being organised with our time. But
consistent as well. Mainly consistency, because if you have a week off, it's not the end of the world, but then a week off could easily lead to 2 or 3.
Yeah.
So you just have a plan in mind that you can have a weekend off, but you've got to be back on it on that Monday.
And I think it helps having like each other, because it's like motivation as well. Like if one of us isn't feeling like great about it one week, like the other one can like push and say like, come on,
you can have today off. I'll do this. And you're doing it tomorrow.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, I suppose that can work in your favour. It can work against you as well, because sometimes if it's all too close, it can test your own relationship, so to speak.
Yeah, that's why we try and have like different jobs as well ourselves that we do on our own. I think as well. So we're not always doing it together. Like we're not always calling letting agents together. Like we have our own responsibilities.
Yeah, so we don't clash.
Yeah.
So you just, let's go back then. You decided that you wanted to do rent to rent. You were looking around there, obviously, and everything like that. You wanted to get started and things. Just tell us your sort of rent to rent journey, if you like, because I'm sure the listeners will be fascinated by it.
Yeah, so I think it first came about on YouTube. So I think there's quite a bit of videos out there on YouTube. But then, obviously, I feel like it was important for us to pay for actual training, because I think there's only limited information on YouTube, and also paying for training will help. Obviously, you have like a group and a community, which we've had through your training, which has really helped us. So yeah, we had a look online, and some of the courses were just like really expensive, and because we just came from uni, we didn't have the money to pay for a course and to fund the first deal. So yeah, we looked around and we found Mark's your course in like November time, I think it was, and it was like really reasonable. And I spoke to a few people who had been on your course and just like asked them, just to say like, did they enjoy it? And they're like, yeah, like it's really good, and it's like really, really good value for money. So yeah, we came on yours, and then that's it. The rest, now we're here.
Yeah.
It's flew by, really, hasn't it? Since November.
Yeah, since November, obviously we had a lot of viewings, a lot of offers get sent out, a lot of rejections.
Yeah.
But we sort of just stumbled upon this one, didn't we?
Yeah.
We'd just been on holiday. Just got back. It was like 2 days after we went to you went to the viewing.
Yeah, we both
It was really good.
Yeah, but then we both, wasn't it? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's
That's the thing. You have that many viewings.
I can't remember which one was it.
No,
yeah. But we just got that deal from. It was through a letting agent. We got the first deal. So yeah, it's gone really quick, but we've had a lot of experience through it. A lot of viewings, rejections, as you said.
Letters, had boundless phone calls to letting agents and landlords, just trying to get our services known. A lot of rejection, but it's just persistence and consistency, and eventually we got what we deserved.
Yeah. We did.
That sounds like something I say, that does.
Yeah.
So, I mean, a lot of the times when you can tell other people, you can say, you've got to be consistent and persistent in your approach. You've got to have your marketing out there. You've got to be talking to agents. You've got to be networking and putting yourself out there. And I think until you actually start doing that for yourself and you realise it can be quite a long road, that it could be easy to just take a detour off of it and forget about it completely and become demoralized is basically what I'm trying to say there. But you guys, from my perspective, have just stayed the course. You've always been on the group coaching calls. You've always been asking questions. You've always been active in the group. I've always seen that, it's got to be a good handful of deals that you've put offers on.
Yeah.
And it's just for whatever reason hasn't worked out. But I mean, where have you found most of your success? Because obviously people are always saying, well, it's a saturated market and everybody's doing it and everything like this. But there are a lot of landlords out there that need your help. It's just finding the right ones or the right agents that want to work with you, isn't it? So from your perspectives, obviously going forward and what you've been doing and things, where have most of your leads sort of come from?
Through letting agents, I'd say.
Yeah.
But we actually, when we went into it, we actually thought that we wouldn't get as many through letting agents. So we were thinking, like, why would they want to use us? Like, they're a management company, why would they want to use us? I think it has come a lot more from letting agents than letters, hasn't it?
Yeah.
From the letters that we sent
And
out.
even calls as well.
Yeah, like
actually just
Gumtree.
going to letting agents and asking them an email and doing calls directly through them. They'll be like, oh, we've got this property. And then we ask them, is the landlord looking for company let? Sometimes they say no, but luckily enough for this one, they said yes. And then we obviously just went from there and were successful with it.
And I think with the letting agents, we got more viewings through chasing them as well, and like saying, you're not doing like a 4 week, so we'd call them the first week, like let them know, we used to send our brochure through to them online and said, if you've got any properties, could you contact us? And then we'd follow up with them 4 weeks later. And I think just doing that, following up with the letting agent really helped us. I definitely think that was our strongest source of deals, isn't it?
Yeah, letting agents.
Yeah.
And how many offers do you think you've put in with different agents, landlords and things before obviously you've got your deal over the line?
I think we had about 15 viewings, and I think we sent about 7 or 8 offers out.
Yeah.
And obviously all of them got rejected.
Well, I thought.
Yeah. And then, but actually this one did get rejected and we had to negotiate the price. But yeah, then it all worked out.
Yeah, so about 15 viewings, maybe a bit more, but then about 8 or 9 actual offers. Got rejected for various reasons. Mainly, I'd say it was probably because of the price. But then a few landlords are very, what would you say?
They think they can get higher than
they
they
definitely overvalue their property.
for what we're offering.
Yeah.
And we just...
There was one of them wanted £5,000 for like a 6-bedroom house.
Around the corner from the one that we've got now.
Yeah, around literally 5-minute drive from what we've got now. It was like, no way.
Even the letting agent was like...
Even the letting agent said, I tried to tell them, but because letting agents told us that they had about 6 or 7 offers and the landlord rejected them all because they were too low. But that's what they can do. Yeah.
Some people are delusional when it comes to that sort of thing. I remember talking to a landlord, and it was like, say the rooms were £100 each to be rented out. He said, well, you can rent off me for £100 per room. And it's just like, okay, so where do I actually make any money on this if I'm managing the property for you? It's like, well, you can put the room rents up. yeah, but the market, the area is market level at that rate. So, and they just don't get it. Some people just don't get it. But that's why we say it's a numbers game, because it's about finding the right people that do want to work with you, that can appreciate the service that you're going to offer and what you're going to do as well. So, I mean, first and foremost, again, I say it every time, congratulations on getting the deal over the line, because it's something really to celebrate. That first one is now over there. You've got something behind you to be able to talk to other people about and things. Yeah. And I mean, what does the future sort of thing hold for you guys? What's the vision? How big are you looking to be? What do you want to do?
So I think we want to really strengthen the rent-to-rent business up and like do that for like the next 3 years and really focus on that. And maybe hopefully we will get 10 deals. We want to get that to our aim over 3 years. And we also want to look into service accommodation as well, and try and do that. So having like both rent HMOs and service accommodation. But we still want to keep our jobs for like 5 years. I think because we're so young, we still want to have that experience in like the corporate world and have that. And because obviously we need the funds as well to fund the business. Yeah, but then hopefully, after 5 to 10 years, go full on in business, but buy property. Want to buy HMOs and do flips. Yeah,
and then by the end of the 10 years, hopefully we'll have our some investments in developments and then commercial properties as well. That's our big goal.
That's our end goal, isn't it? Like to quit our jobs 5 to 10 years and just have we're just buying property.
Yeah, put all our effort and time straight into our property business and just keep growing that in every direction possible.
Yeah. So we want to take it big.
Yeah,
definitely.
Well, why not? Yeah. But I think it's great that you've got the direction that you're going in, which is go down and nail that, get the cash flow coming in. Which is what we all say, cash is, and it gives you options. If you want to work, you can work. You can just pick a job, potentially doesn't even pay that well, but you enjoy doing it just for a bit of socializing with people and things like that. Or you can just jack it in yourself, of course, and just manage your business. Now, if you grow, 10 properties and things like that, you might not want to work because you might have your hands filled. But then it's all about systems. So what you're learning now, and obviously what you've taken from the training and things, is about incorporating the systems, putting the processes in place as well, so that potentially, you can get somebody part-time to help you with the property stuff if you want to go and do something else, which is absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, I think we spoke about having to hire someone at some point.
Employee.
Yeah, you definitely want to end up doing that, I think we know property is what we want to do for life. Like that's our life investment, because we definitely don't want to be working 9 to 5, on a Monday morning. We hate Monday morning, so we don't want to be doing that for the rest of our lives. Yeah, 100%. So
that responsibility of owning your own business, any mistakes are your mistakes.
I think it's having flexibility
commitment
as well.
And hard work, isn't it? To see something sort of from nothing and grow and say, we did that. That's all right.
Yeah.
So what would you say? It took you about 6 months to get your first deal?
Yeah, because I think November, December time, we didn't actually look for deals. We were just setting up the business, setting up the website. From January, I think about 5.5 months.
From January, we got serious because when we first started your course, it was still COVID, wasn't it? So we were still just doing that, settling into our jobs and everything. Yeah. So we didn't have that much time.
We're busy
to invest. Yeah, obviously Christmas was really busy. Lockdowns and stuff were still going on. So there wasn't that much opportunity for us to get out there.
So we said January, didn't we? Said January.
We're just on it from there.
Till mid-May, and then we got it 18th of May.
Yeah, 18th of May.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. I mean, it's quite good as well because it gives you that chance to sort of learn to go through the training and everything, because there is quite a lot there and stuff, and obviously you can get that knowledge, and then at least when you hit and go out there, you've got a lot more sort of behind you to be able to say these things. I mean, from my perspective, obviously, what would you say has been one of the biggest things that you've taken away from the training and obviously the support and everything that we offer?
I think the biggest thing what I love about training is the group, having that meeting other people and being able to speak to others, their experience and them giving tips. I think I can't distinguish one thing because we've learned so much. We would the comparison from what I knew from YouTube, looking at what rent to rent is compared to now, going through your training is just amazing. How much we've learned. What we've taken. So even from this time last year, thinking what we knew about property compared to now.
Oh yeah, 100%.
It's something like support that community, I think.
Yeah, I've definitely the community part, because like no question's a stupid question in the group. Everyone's friendly, everyone's helpful. If you're not available straight away and someone else knows the answer, they'll just be straight on it and give us an answer. So yeah, that like you're just constantly learning, because everyone's at different points of training. So if you're brand new, you can view questions that have been asked that have already been answered, or if you've already if you're already invested in like 3-4 months in, someone could ask a question that's just started that you thought, oh, actually, that's a good question.
Yeah, much remember.
Always interesting questions to learn about. That means you're always learning.
No, that's good. That's good to hear, because that's one of the main things, which is why obviously, we keep people in the group, because, if you've done the training, you're in the group, and unless you want to leave, you're never going to be thrown out or anything like that. Whereas a lot of other platforms and things, you only have a group for like 90 days or something like that. But it's a case of, I wanted to build up a hub of people's knowledge. So we're all thinking the same sort of things. But yeah, people have different experiences, because there's no property, you'll know yourself through all of the negotiations that you've done. There's no property deal that's like cookie cutter, that is exactly the same. There's always quirky little things, because people are involved. And when human beings get involved, things can get a bit messy, or they can get a little bit awkward, or a little bit more complicated and things. So, I mean, just going back, because a lot of people who are starting out and things, talking to agents and stuff can seem quite daunting. How were you guys finding it then when you actually started to talk to the agents, when you got out there in January, February time, and all of a sudden you were putting yourself out there in front of people?
I think it is naturally nerve-wracking being in that situation, but I think we used to go off scripts, and obviously that's what was in your training as well, Mark. We used to go off them scripts like on our first few. Then I think you just build up the confidence to start speaking on your own. Obviously, every conversation is different, so you can't use a script, the same script every call you have. But I think it's just about not putting pressure on yourself, just doing a few a day, or like doing 1 or 2, getting yourself used to it, but just keep at it. And you just got to remember they're human too. Like, not gonna.
Don't take a rejection personal. Is probably the best advice we can give. A lot of letting agents would just cut you off, like, no, we know what you do, don't want to hear it. But then you've just got to persevere, because your next call, they'll be friendly and they'll want to know what you do. They don't want to hear it. It's just practice. Just keep on doing the calls. You'll eventually know exactly what to say, how to handle the rejection better, how to get all the information that you require off them. And all of it is just, you got to keep at it. And then eventually you'll know it at the back of your hand. You'll just be able to say whatever you need to say and convince them.
And we used to practice like each other, like I'd be pretending to be letting agent, looking back now, like, and then just like ask questions what we think they could ask and how we'd answer it. I think that helped a lot. So practice with
just
someone
if
else.
I have the opportunity to practice with someone, just ask the questions to them. Parents or partners, just ask them.
And
just practice.
And always think everyone starts from somewhere. Like, people who are not so successful have always started from not knowing much, feeling underconfident. So yeah, I think you just got to go for it and not care what anyone thinks. Just have confidence in yourself that you can do it. Yeah, and then 100%. The results will show.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I think that's so right. That's so true and brilliant. I think we all start and we're poor. We're poor, and it's just we're always poor at the end of the day. We just get a little less poor as we go forward, or we know what to say here, we know what to say there. But it's about getting out of your own way. And I didn't particularly like talking to agents when I started as well. But that's what I say is to get the scripts gives you an idea of what to say, maybe what not to say. Then it's all about experience, because as another thing that I always like to try and push forward with people is to have your own offering and your own services, because then it's coming from you. You're not just, a mini Mark Fitzgerald, so to speak, and how he does business. You are your own business. You offer this service. You do these, and these are what your values and your offering is in your business. And I always think once you've found that for yourself, there's a little light bulb that goes off that just thinks, I could talk to anybody about this, because I know exactly what it is I'm going to do and how I'm going to help and how our business is put out there. And it looks like, with experience, and it comes with experience, and you have to get out there. And I think also the practicing thing's brilliant.
Yeah.
Being able to, just throw comments and have a bit of a laugh and a joke. And you can say wild things that possibly nobody's even going to say. But also by actually doing it as well, you can do so. So no, you've been brilliant. As I say, you've impressed me no end ever since you came and I spoke to you and you joined and everything, because I've always known you're going to get a deal. And that's, that's what you do. And that's what the environment and everything is that we try and put together, because you just keep taking action. So it's going to happen. It's going to be that snowball effect. And you say you want, 10 deals over the next 3 years. I can see you're going to get, I think you're just going to just start getting, as long as you keep doing what's got you the deal.
Yeah.
Which is the other thing that I was going to say in a second, is it can be quite difficult when you get that first property on board. It's like all hands to the pump and everything. But you've still got to make sure that you keep ringing the agents. You still keep, the marketing's running in the background and stuff like that. So there's two of you, which makes life a little bit easier, I suppose. But have you been able to keep that going?
So I think the first 2 weeks when we got the deal, because we've done all the painting and the refurb ourselves. So we were literally at the property from like 7 a.m. to like 11 p.m. for 2 weeks. Yeah. So we're doing all of that. So we didn't have time to them. We were absolutely shattered for 2 weeks. But yeah, we're starting to now. We've viewed another property, but we might have another one in the back coming through. Yeah. But yeah, I think this week we're definitely going to get back on it a lot more and start calling the letting agents. But yeah, we definitely.
We've been focusing on actually getting it rented out as well, to be fair. But now that it's practically done, we can invest all our time back into acquiring it. So
yeah.
We want to grow as fast as possible, don't we?
We want to scale up quick, so we're not,
Well, you can.
Systemize the business, yeah.
Well, that's it. And obviously you're still involved in the group and things, and I can help you with anything like that. So are you obviously still talking to this agent, seeing if they've got any other leads coming through that potentially you can do anything with, or you've got to keep chasing them up? Do you think they'll bring you anything?
I think we'll have to chase them, which is fine. Just got to try but then we got on really well with the agent.
He said he was very impressed with us, didn't he? Yeah. He said because for that property, he said about 20 people viewed it, but because we went together, and he just liked this, didn't he? So he chose to pass on all our details to the landlord.
Because we're working directly with the landlord now, so we don't work with the letting agent at all. But the landlord actually said that because it's his dad's property, but he owns a property over the road, and he wants to do a similar thing. So we're going to view that in a few weeks. So we might get one through that as well.
Yeah.
So hopefully we'll get another one in the next month or so. Yeah. So yeah.
And then see if he's got any mates. Pay a referral fee. Got any mates?
Well, that's that question as well.
Yeah,
definitely.
I mean, that's it. You always got to ask the question. You got any more properties? That's one of the key things, is to say, or do you know anybody else that could use our services, stuff like that? Because you just don't know what's out there, do you? And it's always good karma to be able to get out there and help people. But no, that's great. So you've done the property up now. You've started to let the rooms and stuff like that. And how's that going? Because was it empty when you took it on, or was there a couple of tenants still there?
It was empty when we took it on, because it used to be
social housing.
So but then they got rid of them in March, I think. So it's been empty from that.
So we had a guy move in a week ago, and then there's 4 people in there at the moment. There's a lady moving in on Tuesday, so in 3 days, tomorrow, sorry. And then we've got one more room to let out. We've got some viewings for that. So yeah, hopefully the next week or so we'll have to be fully tenanted.
Fully tenanted, which I'm sure it will be.
So you got a 6-bed HMO, which you took on empty, and a lot of people obviously are scared that they're not going to be able to fill their rooms and stuff. And you've, what would you say, about a month to fill near enough all the rooms?
Yeah, just over a month. So
and then even so, the first 2 weeks we had viewings, but no one was committing. So we even questioned it. We was like,
we were worried a bit.
We were like, are we actually going to get this filled? But then it just comes.
Yeah.
Like you've got to just, as we always say, never question yourself, because we got people in. We went from 0 to 1 to 5 in the space of a week and a half.
Yeah.
So,
but the first 2 weeks we couldn't actually let it out because we were doing it up.
Yeah, exactly.
So we've only been like 2-3 weeks really. Like people could come in.
3 weeks for 5 tenants. That's really, really good. It just shows what the market's like. And if you put a good product out there, if you're proactive with your marketing, you'll fill the rooms. And I know a lot of people can be worried about that sort of thing. But it's nice to see that you're there showing people how it's done, basically. So no, well done. So have you actually taken time to celebrate it and say, well done, we've got a deal, we've near enough fully tenanted it, or is it just rinse and repeat, roll on to the next one?
We haven't really. We said we're going to, but I don't know when we will.
We haven't really stopped not celebrating because we were just at the prices at Royal Ascot on Saturday, so
that's our celebration.
That's
nice.
One celebration, I guess.
Because I feel like we do go out quite a bit with our friends and stuff, like quite sociable.
Yeah.
But I think we will do it maybe at the end of summer. We're going to try and get one next one, and then the end of August we might go away for a few days, and just either abroad or just like a spa trip or something just to celebrate.
Yeah, I think we ordered a takeaway, didn't we? On the first day. Nando's, that was it. That was on
went for Nando's and we got the keys.
Yeah.
Small
celebration. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Small celebration.
Well, it's on to the next one now, isn't it, at the end of the day? But it is nice to sort of mark the occasion and stuff, because the first ones are always a special one. You'll get to a point where it's just like, oh, another property. But the first ones are always exciting and special and everything, and it's been great. So what I like to do on these, I like to ask a few quick fire questions, which really is just a bit of feedback, really, and what you like and what you're listening to and reading and stuff like that, because I'm always interested, and I know the listeners are as well. But I always like to start this one. What's the best advice you've ever had?
Ooh.
The best advice.
I think, Mark, from you, the persistence and consistency, because I know you love that saying, but I think literally we always say it, don't we?
Yeah.
Persistent and consistent. So probably off you, Mark.
I'd agree.
Because
thank you. I'll take that. I seem to say it a lot. I always think, oh, am I saying this too much? But it is. That was my motto. Be consistent and persistent in your approach, and you'll get results.
I think because you said that so much, we've it's ingrained in our heads now.
We always say we made it up.
Yeah. So
Well, it works. It works, doesn't it? Okay, I'll give you that one. Lovely. Can't ask the next one because you've still got jobs. I normally ask if you could choose to do any job other than obviously a property job, what would you choose to do? But you can answer that if you want.
I'd like to do something that gives back to the community, to be fair. Like, I'm not sure what. Maybe I've had a look at a few jobs, and the one that interests me was being a sports coach for children around schools, organising and setting up things for them. I feel like that would be quite interesting to do.
Not in the future.
Yeah.
If you don't do a few days a week or something.
Just do something
to give back.
To give back, really. Once the property's all sorted and we're making a decent amount of money to survive off, just do something nice and enjoyable like that.
No, that's nice. That's really nice. I funnily enough, a similar thing now. I help out for my son's basketball. So Jack's grown up. He's a bit now. He's gone a bit senior. But Lewis is joining the lower basketball leagues, and I'm sort of in there now. I help with a bit of coaching, but I more carry the bags and just help make everything tick over. But it's just my way of giving something back, because it's nice to have the time to be able to do so. Whereas obviously when you're in the sort of corporate world, if you like the rat race, you don't have a lot of time or free time to do things. So it's nice to be able to give something back. But no, that's really, really good. How about you, Remi?
So I've always been interested in project management. And that's my job that I'm starting in September, a project management graduate job. So I'm like an organised freak, basically. So I've always wanted to do something like that. So I think, I definitely want to do project management. That's I don't want to I want to have the time to have a career. Then obviously do property full time in the long run. I've always been interested in doing that. So I'll be starting that in September.
Brilliant. So That's cool. That's cool. If you could sit down and have dinner with 3 people, whether they're dead or alive, who would you choose? You're going to have 6. You're going to have a big table, you lot.
You want to go first? Or shall I go?
You can go first.
I think, business-wise or anything.
Whoever inspires you, or you just like to have a chat with, you just think that would be interesting.
I've got 2 serious business ones, and I've got a fun one that's not business.
Okay.
I think Stephen Bartlett, I think he's really inspirational, a man in business. He's done really well. And I listen to his podcast, Diary of a CEO, a lot. And then this girl called Grace Beverley. So she's a woman in business, and she's really big at the moment. I think she's really, really inspirational for women in business. And then my third one would be Kim Kardashian, because I love the Kardashians, so I have to do a fun one. So yeah, it'd be Kim.
That's good.
Mine would be, first one would be Mike Tyson, because I love boxing.
You do boxing, don't you?
I do boxing quite often as well. Like, I train 4 times a week doing boxing, so having a chat with him would be very interesting. And then also Tyson Fury, not just because of the boxing, just because of his comeback as well. Because obviously he was depressed and became a bit of an alcoholic and was spending a lot of money on drugs, but then he went from that back to being a world champion again. So I feel like that would be really inspirational to have the chance to talk to him. And then there's also a man called David Goggins that's a massive sports freak. He's always about staying committed, carrying on, never giving up. Even when you don't want to do it, that's when the real changes are made, because you carry on and continue it. So I feel like all those people are personally inspirational to me. So I'd like to meet them.
Big table.
That's a pretty inspirational table, that one, I tell you. Isn't it? That'd be great. That'd be great. Oh, that's excellent. That's excellent. So let's have your top 3 podcasts.
I love the Diary of a CEO podcast. Mark's podcast, obviously, we can't do. Yeah, we listen to Mark's like when they come out. Other one? See what? Listen to the other ones.
I listen to, obviously, well, we listen to Mark's together, don't we?
Yeah,
the majority of the time. And then, well, that David Goggins, he does a great podcast. Like, if I'm going on a run or something, I just listen to him telling me I better not stop. Otherwise, he'll beat me up, basically.
I like Jay Shetty as well. He's like a real good motivational. Yeah, I think it's really good. It's like your mind and things like that. Yeah.
I don't really listen to individual podcasts. I'll just search something like inspirational. Maybe like a 10-15 minute of loads of different people talking about different stories and stuff. So but yeah, it's not a specific podcast.
You might say that now, but have you listened to David Goggins' book?
No, not yet, but I want to buy it and read it.
Read it, but listen to it as well, because it's like his podcast on it. So they'll read a chapter out in Audible and then they'll talk about it, and it's fascinating. It really is. So somebody said to me the book is inspirational, but the actual Audible, and I prefer to read personally, is second to none. So while you're having your jogs and stuff, get that downloaded and listen to that. And honestly, I've gone through that. I was binge listening to it. Absolutely brilliant. What the guy's gone through and what his mindset and everything. You're exactly right there. But yeah, definitely grab hold of that one. And that leads us on to books. So what's your top 3 books?
Oh, what book am I reading? Oh, what's it called? What I really like, The One Thing. I've read that. Is it The One Thing? Yeah, I've recently read that. And that's really good for me because I'm just thinking about 100 things at once. So it's really good for me to like try and focus on one task and do that 100%. And then another one reason is it the Chimp Paradox? That one.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
I'm halfway through that at the moment. I'm really enjoying that. So yeah, I think that really helps with my management as well. Can you think of
I'm currently reading Eat That Frog, which is about how to get like loads of different things done in a day, not to procrastinate and waste time, which I can occasionally do. But yeah, so that's helping me out with that. One of my favourite books I've read was How to Make Friends and Influence People. That's an amazing book. And
well, that helped, didn't it? When we was
that definitely helped with speaking to the letting agents and stuff, because you know how to get people's attention and directly offer them your services by understanding what they need, sort of.
Makes you think about how to say it, isn't it? Yeah.
And it wasn't.
Yeah.
That's it, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it.
That's brilliant. Oh, that's brilliant. There's some real good books there. I've read all of those, and I can certainly recommend those.
How to Make Friends and Influence People.
How to Make Friends and that's a Dale Carnegie book. I'm sure it is. That's a fascinating book because, like you say, when it comes to sales, it's almost like getting people to talk about themselves, and then you can find out what it is they need, what they want, rather than you just going in there trying to plug them with what you can offer them, because that brings up walls and barriers. So, no, that's a really, really good one. That's a really good one. You've done well. You've done really well to get to where you are in a relatively short space of time, filling properties, going forward. We don't always pat ourselves on the back, but you guys sound like you are doing that really well, which is great, You sound like you've also got a lot of vision. You know where you want to be going and things like that. But I mean, if somebody it was starting out now, so to speak, and had all of the doubts, which is very, very easy to have. This won't work. I can't talk to people. I struggle to do this or that. What sort of advice would you say to somebody now that was thinking about maybe getting into rent to rent, but just wasn't sure how to go about it?
Don't give up.
Yeah.
Never. Don't doubt yourself, which is easier said than done. But if that fails, just don't give up. You can have bad days and you'll have good days. You've just you've just not got to give up and just keep at it and keep working hard, and eventually your hard work will pay off.
Yeah, because there were so many times that we could have been like, oh, why are we doing this? Like, we'd get so many rejections, we couldn't find houses, and it all happens for a reason, because we look back at, we said this yesterday, when we look back at properties that we got rejected from, and we actually glad we never got them, like we're glad we waited for this one. Exactly. So I just think it will happen when it's meant to happen, as long as you put the work in. And I think another thing, pay for training, pay for Mark's training, but pay for training, because you can't do it on your own off YouTube. Like, you need the support, you need the actual specific training, and the focus and the coach. Yeah. So I think pay for training and keep going. Yeah.
And also don't force a deal either.
Yeah.
It's got to come off them
what they want.
Everything.
Yeah.
And then, because then you'd be left with nothing. Like, we've had deals where, looking back at it, we were silly to offer the things that we did.
Yeah, so we're glad it never went through.
We're glad we never went through, because we would have been so out of pocket. It would have took us probably till now.
Yeah.
To even break even. So yeah, just, you'll know if the deal works for you. And
don't
then
force
if
it.
Don't force it. Give a little wiggle room,
but not like hundreds.
Not loads.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, as I always say, a deal's not a deal unless it's a deal, and it's all about getting right deals, doing the right deals. And I was the same when I started. You put offers in, you get a bit demoralised, or you get a bit giddy, because you want to try and get that deal so much that, you can potentially put in deals that aren't potentially really, really good for you. But it sounds like you haven't, and any ones that you potentially didn't go through. But again, it's like you say with the training and things as well. I got educated in training in what I was doing, because I wanted to know, the step by step on how to do it. Saves time, saves money in the long run to do that sort of thing. But also, it's like you guys put yourself into a situation and where if you wanted to show me a deal or send me any deals, you could at any time.
Yeah,
and I'll have a look at them and I'll give you my feedback and things like that. So it's just about, things happen for a reason. You put yourself in the right places, and it's been absolutely great to be having you on here and having a chat with you. So have you got any final thoughts before we say goodbye? Because I am mindful of the time.
Just thanks for having us on the podcast, and thanks for
all your hard work helping us get to this point.
Thanks for making your mistakes a few years ago to help us.
Yeah.
Well, that's it. And that's why I put that into the training as well, because the mistakes that I've made, is what you learn from. It's what I've learned from. And obviously it means that you can go out there and hopefully not make any of those sort of same mistakes. But it's been absolutely a pleasure to have you on. What I would like to say is, in the future, maybe it's 6 months, 12 months time, to potentially invite you back on. We'll see how you progress. You'll probably have your 10 properties easily by then. You'll be project managing something else. So it could be really exciting. So yeah, it'd be great to have you back.
Oh, brilliant. Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
My pleasure. My pleasure. So I hope you've enjoyed this episode today. I know I really did, enjoying having Remi and Alex join me on the show, to be a part of their property journey, to be able to see them bloom, to be able to see them succeed, and to see them as well as passionate as they have been about creating the future that they want to create. If you think you want to get started in rent to rent, or maybe you have tried to get started but are finding it really, really hard, just remember, you do not have to do this on your own. Alex and Remi are just some of the students that are getting fantastic results on the Rent to Rent Business Builder with my good self. They are a part of the community now, and they are there helping others who are joining this community as well. They are a beacon of support, as are other people who are in the Facebook groups and also on the coaching calls. So again, if you need any help in your property investing journey, visit www.thepropertyunleashed.com. where I have some free tools and resources, guides in rent to rent, in serviced accommodation, and a deal analyzing spreadsheet as well. We do have a free rent to rent masterclass coming out very shortly to help you get up and running with rent to rent. And if you are interested in doing the business and getting out there and having the full tools and resources at your disposal, plus the people to keep you going when times are hard, then come and find out more about the Rent to Rent Business Builder with my good self. So again, I hope you've enjoyed this episode. It's been great to have you joining me here, and I look forward to you joining me next week. You take care, keep focusing on that vision, and bye for now. Thank you for listening, guys. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. Please subscribe and share the podcast with others. And if you could take a minute to leave the show a review, that would really mean a lot to me as well. Lastly, why not head over to the Property Unleashed Facebook group? And if you do, I'll see you there. Take care and make sure you keep focusing on your vision. Bye for now.